Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to read Tilopa, who was a great Buddhist master that lived about 1,000 years ago, his teaching to Naropa, which was one of his students who brought this teaching back to Tibet through his follower Marpa, and which is a highly studied and revered piece of literature in Tibetan Buddhism. And before I begin, I wanted to share a brief story that Krishnadas, the famous kirtan singer, was in India with the great saint and my guru Neem Karoli Baba, who is a Hindu guru in that form of speaking. And he was worried because Krishnadas was worried because Neem Karoli Baba had grabbed his notebook, which had this Buddhist teaching in it, and he had it translated to him. And when he heard it, he said, "Yes, this is truth." And the part he had translated to him was about how you can turn the mind on the mind to go through the veil into God, into boundlessness. So I encourage you to attempt to enter a meditative or contemplative state before listening to this reading. And when you're listening to it, attempt and pray to be able to surrender all of your concepts that you think you know, even who you think you are, everywhere you've been, everything you've done, wherever you're going right now. Forget all of it. Forget what you know about spirituality, what you've been taught about God. Just listen to these great wisdom teachings and let them seep into you without any adulteration, without any blocks. Is space anywhere supported? Upon what does it rest? Like space, Mahamudra is dependent upon nothing. Relax and settle into the communion of unalloyed purity. In your bonds loosening, release is certain. Gazing intently into the empty sky, vision ceases. Likewise, when mind gazes into itself, this is the part I was talking about, the train of discursive and conceptual thoughts ends, and supreme enlightenment is gained. Like the morning mist that dissolves into thin air, going nowhere, but ceasing to be. Waves of conceptualization, all the mind's creation dissolve when you behold your mind's true nature. Pure space has neither color nor shape, and it cannot be stained either black or white. So also mind's essence is beyond both color and shape, and it cannot be sullied by black or white deeds. The darkness of 1,000 eons is powerless to dim the crystal clarity of the sun's heart. And likewise, eons of samsara, of wandering on the wheel of birth and death, have no power to veil the clear light of the mind's essence. Although space has been designated empty, in reality, it is inexpressible. Although the nature of mind is called clear light, its every ascription is baseless verbal fiction. The mind's original nature is like space. It pervades and embraces all things under the sun. Be still and stay relaxed in genuine ease. Be quiet and let sound reverberate as an echo. Keep your mind silent and watch the ending of all worlds. The body is essentially empty, like the stem of a reed, and the mind, like pure space, utterly transcends the world of thought. Relax into your intrinsic nature with neither abandon nor control. Mind with no objective is Mahamudra, and with practice perfected, supreme enlightenment is gained. The clear light of Mahamudra cannot be revealed by the canonical scriptures or metaphysical treatises of the Mantravada, the Paramitas, or the Tripitaka. The clear light is veiled by concepts and ideals. By harboring rigid precepts, the true samyama, concentration or meditation, is impaired. But with cessation of mental activity, all fixed notions subside. When the swell of the ocean is at one with its peaceful depths, when the mind never strays from intermediate, non-conceptual truth, the unbroken samaya is a lamp lit in spiritual darkness. Free of intellectual conceits, disavowing dogmatic principles, the truth of every school in Scripture is revealed. Absorbed in Mahamudra, you are free from the prison of samsara. Poised in Mahamudra, guilt and negativity are consumed. And as a master of Mahamudra, you are the light of the doctrine. The fool, in his ignorance, disdaining Mahamudra, knows nothing but struggle in the flood of samsara. Have compassion for those who suffer constant anxiety. Sick of unrelenting pain and desiring release, adhere to a master, for when his blessing touches your heart, the mind is liberated. Kai ho, listen with joy. Investment in samsara is futile. It's the cause of every anxiety. Since worldly involvement is pointless, seek the heart of reality. In the transcending of mind's dualities is supreme vision. In a still and silent mind is supreme meditation. In spontaneity is supreme activity. And when all hopes and fears have died, the goal is reached. Beyond all mental images, the mind is naturally clear. Follow no path to follow the path of the Buddhas. Employ no technique to gain supreme enlightenment. Kai ma, listen with sympathy, with insight into your sorry world predicament, realizing nothing can last, that all is as dreamlike illusion, meaningless illusion, provoking frustration and boredom. Turn around and abandon your mundane pursuits. Cut away involvement with your homeland and friends, and meditate alone in a forest or mountain retreat. Exist there in a state of non-meditation, and attaining no attainment, you attain Mahamudra. A tree spreads its branches and puts forth leaves, but when its root is cut, its foliage withers. So too, when the root of the mind is severed, the branches of the tree of samsara die. A single lamp dispels the darkness of 1,000 eons. Likewise, a single flash of the mind's clear light erases eons of karmic conditioning and spiritual blindness. Hi ho, listen with joy. The truth beyond mind cannot be grasped by any faculty of mind. The meaning of non-action cannot be understood in compulsive activity. To realize the meaning of non-action and beyond mind, cut the mind at its root and rest in naked awareness. Allow the muddy waters of mental activity to clear. Refrain from both positive and negative projection. Leave appearances alone. The phenomenal world, without addition or subtraction, is Mahamudra. So when we don't add or subtract to it, this world is supreme enlightenment. The unborn, omnipresent base dissolves your impulsions and delusions. Do not be conceited or calculating, but rest in the unborn essence, and let all conceptions of yourself and the universe melt away. The highest vision opens every gate. The highest meditation plumbs the infinite depths. The highest activity is ungoverned, yet decisive, and the highest goal is ordinary, being devoid of hope and fear. At first, your karma is like a river falling through a gorge. In mid-course, it flows like a gentle meandering river, Ganga. And finally, as a river becomes one with the ocean, it ends in consummation, like the meeting of mother and son. If the mind is dull and you are unable to practice these instructions, retaining essential breath and expelling the sap of awareness, practicing fixed gazes, methods of focusing the mind, discipline yourself until the state of total awareness abides. When serving a karma mudra, the pure awareness of bliss and emptiness will arise. Composed in blessed union of insight and means, slowly send down, retain, and draw back up the bodhicitta. So send down the breath, retain the breath, the prana, the life force, and draw it back up the spine. In conducting it to the source, either the right side of the heart or the third eye and the crown, saturate the entire body. But only if lust and attachment are absent will that awareness arise. Then, gaining long life and eternal youth, waxing like the moon, radiant and clear with the strength of a lion, you'll quickly gain mundane power and supreme enlightenment. May this instruction in Mahamudra remain in the hearts of fortunate beings. Tilopa's Mahamudra instructions to Naropa in 28 verses. This was transmitted by the great Guru and Mahasiddha Tilopa to Kashmiri Pandit sage in Siddha Naropa, near the banks of the river Ganga, upon the completion of his 12 austerities. Naropa transmitted the teaching in Sanskrit in the form of 28 verses to the great Tibetan translator Mar Parkas Ki Blosgros, who made a free translation of it at his village of Pulari on the Tibet-Bhutan border. This translation into English has been done by Kunzang Tenzin in 1977 after transmission of the oral teaching by Karmtrul Rinpoche in Tashijong, Kangra Valley, India. Sarva Mangalam, may all beings be happy. This reminds me of an Alan Watts quote I just saw. He said, "Don't be afraid. You're going to make it, but it's always going to feel as if you're not. That's the fun, you see."